Yes, we will start the today's session now. Okay, so in the last session, we have started with this problem. Okay, and we have able to cover like some part of this problem. Okay, so I will just brief you. Okay, one hour before we have started with this problem. So in the problem, what they have given is this is 3-bar truss. You can see this is a 3-bar. This is 1 bar. This is 1 bar. This is 1 bar. So this is 3-bar truss is subjected to the loadings. Okay, so these are the loadings. So what they have done at the free end, they have applied 10 kilonewton in downward and 20 kilonewton on the right hand side. Right. The modulus of elasticity for the bar material is 300 gigapascal. So whether you consider this bar or this bar or this bar, these 3 bars, they are made up of a material with value of E as 300 gigapascal. The cross-section area for each member of the bar used for the truss is 300 mm square. So cross-section area of every bar or every member is 300 mm square. The length of the element are L1. For this one, it is 800. For this one, it is 600. And for this one, it is 1000 mm. It is given as well. So how we have started? We have started with, okay, the elements are already given. We have started assigning the nodes, node 1, node 2, node 3. Okay, now see, for assigning the coordinates to each and every node, we assume node 1 as a reference with coordinate 0, 0. Okay, then we have located node 2 with respect to node 1. Okay, so what is the location of node 2 with respect to node 1? The horizontal distance is 800 and there is no any vertical distance. So this is 800 and this is 0. Right, now what is the location of node 3 with respect to node 1? Okay, then location of node 3 with respect to node 1 is this is 800 and this is 600. Right, so this is 800, this is 600. Right, so horizontal distance is 800, vertical distance is 600. So accordingly we are assigned. Right, now see, as we are applying the force in X as well as in Y direction, every node will deform in X and Y direction. Right, so this node will have 2 degrees of freedom. Again, node number 2 will have 2 degrees of freedom, and node number 3 will be having 2 degrees of freedom. So what is the meaning of 1? It's node 1 can move in X. 2, it means node 1 can move in Y. 3 means node 2 can move in X. 4 means node 2 can move in Y. 5 means node 3 can move in X. 6 means node 3 can move in Y. Right? So this is what we have done. After that, we have started filling this table. Okay. So see, if you can see this table, this is written for elements. So we have 3 elements. For every element, we will having 2 nodes. Okay, so those nodes are I and J, and for every node we will have X and Y coordinate. Okay, it is simple in that way. After that, we have written the length of the element. Okay, the one factor that is called as L, it is taken as ratio of X. It is basically L, and it is basically the difference of Xj minus Xi divided by Le. Similarly, for this one, it is Xj minus Xi by Le. Similarly, for this one, it is Xj minus Xi by Le. Similarly, we have written M, that is Yj minus Yi by Le. Similarly, Yj minus Yi by Le, Yj minus Yi by Le, that is M. Then we have taken L square, then we have taken L into M, then we have taken M square. So we got this thing. Okay, now see, this is element stiffness matrix. Okay, and this will change as per the field. Okay, for structural field it will be different, for thermal field will be different, for fluid field it will be different. Now see, you might be amazed to see the size of this matrix. Okay, you can see the size of the matrix. Okay, this is element matrix. Okay, so for every element, you can see, if you just take it element number 1 or 2 or 3, for every element there are 2 nodes, right? For every element there are 2 nodes, and each node can move in 2 directions. Every element will have 2 nodes. Each node can move in 2 directions. So 2 into 2 is 4, right? So size of this matrix is 4 by 4, right? See, why the size is 4 by 4? This is written for element, and for element there are 2 nodes, and each node will move in 2 directions. So 2 into 2 is 4. So this size is 4 by 4, right? Now we have written element matrices for 1, we have written element matrices for 2, we have written element matrices for 3, and respective terms we have put. So we are able to get such matrices, right? Now for element number 1, which is between 1 and 2, you can see element number 1 between 1 and 2. I should write down the numbers for rows and columns as 1, 2, 3, 4, right? For element number 1, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. For element number 2, it should be 3, 4, 5, 6. For element number 3, it is 1, 2, 5, 6. See, like that way, we have assigned the rows and columns. Now, once we have it, what we have done is we have formed the global stiffness matrices. So we should have the size of the global stiffness matrices. Okay. So why the size is 6? Because there are 3 nodes. for entire problem, you can see for entire problem. See, if you talk about element, for element, there are 2 nodes and each node can move in 2 directions. So 2 into 2 is 4. But if you talk about the entire problem, okay, there are 3 nodes and each node can move in 2 directions. So size will be 3 into okay, make the rows, we have make the columns. Now what we have done, we have started picking the element matrices so as to put in a global matrix, right? So we have started picking is, place it, pick it, place it, and pick it, place it. So like that way we have done, right? Now we have got this global stiffness matrices. So obviously this is to be multiplied by displacements, right? So U1, U2, U3, U4. See, U1 and U2, they are at node 1. U3 and U4, they are at node 2. U5 and U6, they are at node 3. Okay. See, U1 is the displacement at node 1 in X direction. This is in Y direction. Similarly, U3 and U4, they are at node 2. Okay. U3 is in X, U4 is in Y. Similarly, U5 and U6, they are at node 3, where 5 is in X and 6 is in Y. Right? So similarly, we will have forces. Right? Now let us solve this equation. Let's solve this equation. Right? Let us solve this equation. Okay, let's solve it. Okay, now how we'll solve this equation? How to solve this equation? So in order to solve this equation, we need to impose certain boundary conditions, right? So let us impose the boundary condition. Okay, what does boundary condition? Can you anybody tell me what could be the boundary conditions? Can anybody tell me? Any idea you have? What would be the boundary conditions that we should impose? Now see, all of you can see this node 1, at node 1 we have fixed, right? Node 1 we have fixed. And with respect to node 1, which are the degrees of freedom? They are 1 and 2. With respect to node 1, degrees of freedom are 1 and 2. So I'll just make U1 as 0 and U2 as 0. Try to understand. U1 and U2, they are associated with node 1. And as node 1 is fixed, that means node 1 cannot move in any direction. That means displacement at node 1 is 0. Now let us see this one about node 2. Node 2 is a roller, right? Node 2 is a roller which basically can move in X direction, right? It will move in X direction, right? It can't move in Y direction. So I will make U4 as 0. See, U3 and U4, they are the displacement at node 2. U3 and U4, they are the displacement at node 2. Okay. But U3 will be in X and U4 is in Y, right? U4 is in Y. Okay. So that roller can't move in Y direction. That's why U4 is 0, right? So now you will go to node 3. Node 3 degrees of freedom are 5 and 6, but node 3 is free. So we are not able to apply anything, right? So what happens is, okay, so 3 displacements got 0. Okay, so when any displacement gets 0, then that particular row and that particular column gets cancelled. So U1 is 0, first row, first column is cancelled. U2 is 0, so second row, second column is cancelled, right? Similarly, U4 is 0, so fourth row and fourth column gets cancelled, right? Fourth row and fourth column gets cancelled. Now see, if you can clearly see here, what we have system of 3 equations with 3 unknowns, right? We have the equations in the form of U3, U5, and U6, right? We have the equation in the form of U3, U5, U6, right? So ultimately, we are interested to calculate the values of U3, U5, and U6, right? This we should determine. So see, if you want to get the value of U3, U5, and U6, right, we should enter the value of F2, we should enter the value of F5, we should enter the value of F6, right? Right hand side should be known, right? Right hand side should be known. Then only we'll be able to determine U3, U5, U6. Now let us put the value F3, F3. Where you are getting 3? Okay. See F3. Are you getting 3 here, right? See, this is 3, right? F3 it is 4. What is F3? F3 it is nothing but force at node 2, right? F3. See, F1 and F2, they are the forces at node 1. F3 and F4, they are forces at node 2. And F5 and F6, they are forces at node 3, right? So see, F3 and F4, as I told you, these are the forces at node 2. Okay, so node 2. F3, F4, they are forces at node 2. But F3 will be in X direction. So is there any force at node 2 in X direction? You can see in X direction. Okay, what is that? It's minus 30, right? Is that okay or not? It is minus 30. See, so now one convention. See, if you want to take right hand as a positive, let us take it as positive. Okay, so I'll just take it as plus 30. Right hand, we will take it as positive. So this is plus 30. plus 30 kilonewton, right? Plus 30 kilonewton. Next, go to F5. F5. Force at F5 and F6, they are the forces at a node 3. F5 and F6, they are the forces at node 3. But F5 will be in X direction. So what is the force at node 3 in X direction? It is 20 kilonewton. So F5 is 20 kilonewton. Okay, this is 30 kilonewton. And let us go to F6. F6, it is a force at node 3 in Y direction. So this is a force at node 3 in Y direction, that is 10 kilonewton. I will just write down this as a minus 10 kilonewton. Right? So now let us solve this. Let us solve this equation. Okay, now how will solve? How to solve this equation? Okay, so obviously, okay, we are supposed to solve this in a calculator. So we will solve these equations in a calculator. Right, let's do that. Okay, what we'll do, we'll go to mode. We will go to the solve the system equations, 3 unknowns. Okay, to that we will go. We'll go to the solve system equations with 3 unknown. I will now start putting the value. First is 112.5. First term is 112.5. Second is this one is 0. This one is 0. And this is 30. This is 30. Then next is 0. Then 57.6. 57.6. Then 43.2. 43. Then 20. Then 20. Then 0. 43.2. Then 182.4. Okay, then minus 10. Okay, let us solve it. So when we solve, let us see what answer we are getting, right? So we are getting U3 value as 0.266. I will make it 0.27 mm. This is 0.47 mm. Okay, this I will make it as minus 0.17 mm. Right? So see what I have entered. See, this is A1, B1, C1, D1, right? A2, B2, C2, D2, A3, B3, C3, D3. That I have entered. So I got this value. Is there any doubt you are facing with this one? Are you facing any doubt with this one? Let me know. Is there any doubt or difficulty you are facing with this equation? Okay, how to solve it? Is it okay with this one? Now see, the point where displacement is 0, at that point we will get the reactions, right? So U1 is 0, we will get F1. How to calculate F1? First row multiplied by this column, right? So 170.1 into U1, U1 is 0, so this is 0. Then 43.2 into U2, so U2 is 0, that's why this term is 0. Okay, so this is remaining is minus 112.5. You better understand. Minus 112.5 minus 112.5 into U3 okay, then plus 0 into U4. See, plus 0 into U4, there is nothing. So this is minus 57.6 into U5. So just write that minus 57.6 into U5 plus this minus 43.2 into U6 is equal to F1. See, you need to multiply element to element wise, right? This into this plus this into this, right? That what is equal to F. Right? So in this equation, just put the values. Okay, so you will be able to determine the value of F1. Right, so let's calculate the value of F1. What we are getting? F1. Let us calculate that. F1. Right, so F1, if you calculate, okay, you will get that value equal to minus 50 kilonewton. You will get that. Okay, F1 you will get it as minus 50 kilonewton. Okay, now let us calculate F2. How to calculate F2? Second row by this column, right? Second row by this column. So initial two terms will be 0. Third term again 0 into U3 is 0. Fourth term 0 into U4 is again 0. What is remaining? These two terms, right? So minus 43.2 into U5. Minus 43.2 into U5. You can see minus 43.2 into U5 plus minus 32.4 into U6 plus minus 32.4 into U6. So is equal to F2. See this row, second row by this column, what I've done, right? So when you put the values, okay, of U5 and U6 in this particular equation, okay, you will get the value of F2 equal to, get the value of F2 is equal to minus 15 kilonewton. Okay, get it minus 15, right? F2. Similarly, we need to go for F4, like fourth row by this column, right? So initial two terms are 0. 0 into U3 is again 0. So 150 into U4 is again 0. 0 into U5 is 0. So minus 150 U6 is equal to F4. Minus 150 U6 is equal to F4, right? So is equal to F4, we will get it as, okay, 25, some 25 kilonewton. Okay, let us calculate this. Simple calculation is there, right? F4 we will get. Now, as like what we have done it for the previous problem, okay, we need to check whether what are the values of displacements that we got are correct or not. So for that, we will take the summation of forces in x direction and is equal to, okay, I will just take the forces in x direction. So as I told you, these are the odd numbers. You can see F1, F3, and F5. F1 is the force at node 1 in x. F3 is the force at node 2 in x. And F5, this is the force at node 3 in x. Okay? So just add F1 plus F3 plus F5. Okay? Similarly, summation of forces in y is equal to F2 plus F4 plus F6. F2 plus F4 plus F6, right? So F1, what is the value of F1? We got minus 50, we got plus F3 is 30. You can see here F3 is 30 plus F5 is 20, right? So we'll get summation of forces in x direction to be equal to 0. Similarly, let's do for summation of Fy. Okay, so that is F2. What we got? We got it as minus 15 plus F4 is 25 plus F6 is minus 10. So what do we got? We got it equal to 0, right? So that means what? Whatever the values that we got for the displacements, they are correct. Right? They are correct. Is that okay? Is that okay with this one? Let me know. Now what we'll do now, we further start with the calculation of, strain. We'll start with the calculation of strain. Strain induced in element number 1, as I told you. Okay, so formula is 1 by length of the element into minus L minus M L M. Okay, so minus L minus M L M into what? Now we need to write down, right? So we need to write down the displacements which are associated with node 1. We need to write down the displacements which are associated with node 1. So sorry, element number 1. So for element number 1, okay, we are calculating strain in element number 1. So we need to calculate, write down the displacement which are associated with element number 1. Okay, but if you see the element number 1, it is associated with 2 nodes, that is 1 and 2. So we need to write down displacements which are associated with node 1 and node 2. So those displacements are U1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, for element number 1, displacement are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just write down U1, U2, U3, and U4. Right? So these are the displacements. Okay. Now let us put those values. Okay, let us put those values. Okay. So let's put these values. So is equal to 1 by length of element, 1 by length of element number 1. Okay, let us put length of element number 1. It's 800, right? It's 800. Then minus L. Okay, I'll just write down those things. You can check. Okay. Minus L. See, minus L is -1, right? It's a -1. Then minus M. See, M is 0. So minus M is again 0. Then L is 1 and M is 0. Okay, I just write down these values from the table only for element number 1. Okay, into displacement at node 1. Okay, what is the displacement at node 1? We can check it. So sorry, U1 and U2, they are 0. Okay, U1 and U2, I will enter this value as 0. Okay, this is what required, right? U1 and U2 we required, right? So U1 and U2, they are 0. What is U3 and U4? U3 we have calculated 0.27, and U4 is again 0. U4 is again 0. Right? Now let us calculate it. Okay, so how we'll do that? Okay, let us multiply that, right? So 0 into this one is 0. Okay, 0 into this one is again 0. 1 into this is 0.27. So I'll just write down here. This is 0.27 divided by 800, right? See, because this into this is again 0. So 0.27 divided by 800. Okay, so we'll get some value. So what we are getting? We are getting that as 3.33 into 10 raised to power -4. Okay, this is strain induced element number 1, right? Similar sort of exercise we need to repeat for strain induced element number 2. So it is again 1 by length of the element, okay, minus L minus M L M. So this is common, right? Now for element number 2, okay, for element number 2, you can see this is element number 2, where nodes are 2 and 3. So for node number 2, okay, degrees of freedom are 3, 4, and for here it is 5, 6. Okay, so I'll just write down as 3, 4, 5, 6, right? U3, U4, U5, and U6. U3, U4, and U5, and U6. Okay, so let's do that. So 1 by now length of element number 2. Okay, 1 by length of element number 2. You can see that. Length of element number 2, it's a 600. You can check. Length of element number 2 is 600. 600 into minus L. Okay, let us check this. Okay. Into what? Minus L. Okay, let's see this. See, into minus L, that is -0. -0 is 0. Minus M, so -1. Then L is 0 and M is 1. Okay? Into U3. See, U3. What is the value of U3? Just now we have this values. U3. Just a time before we have calculated 0.27. Right? See, U3 is 0.27. Just now we have calculated U3 is 0.27, right? Check here. How about we check it? U3 is 0.27. U4 is already 0. U5 and U6, we have those values. 0.47 minus 0.17, right? So when we calculate it, let us check how much answer we have. Right? Let's calculate it. So see, 0 into this one is 0. -1 into 0 is again 0. 0 into this one is 0. What we are remaining is minus 0.17 divided by 600. Okay. So this value will let's calculate that value. How much value we are getting, right? And that value will comes to be, okay. Let us do that calculation and let's calculate this value. So it is coming to be minus 2.78 into 10 raised to power -4. Right? So this is strain induced element number 2, right? Now let us calculate, okay, on the similar hand, strain induced element number 3. So strain induced in element number 3, it is given by 1 by LE again minus L minus M L M. Okay, now we need to write down the displacement. So at that time you need to take the care. Okay, so see, all of you see. Okay, this is element number 3, which is between node 1 and 3. 1 and 3, right? So for node number 1, it is 1, 2, and for node number 3, it is 5, 6. Okay, so we are moving from left towards right. You should not write down 5, 6, and 1, 2. Not. You should write down 1, 2, 5, 6. Because for element number 1, how we are written? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Similarly, for element number 3, we should write down 1, 2, 5, 6. Like that. Okay, so just write down 1, U1, U2, U5, and U6. Right? 1, 2, 5, 6. Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Okay, now let us put those values which we have calculated, right? So 1 by length of the element, 1 by length of the element number 1, element number 3, sorry. So 1 by length of element number 3 is 1000. Okay, I'll just note those properties. 1 by length of element number 3 is 1000 into minus L. So this is minus 0.8 minus M, that is minus 0.6, L, that is 0.8, M is 0.6, okay, into U1, U2, U1 and U2, they are 0. You can check it. U1 and U2, they are 0. U5 and U6, we have already calculated. That is 0.47 minus 0.1. Right? 0.47 minus 0.1. Okay, so now let us calculate that. Okay, let's calculate this value. So how to calculate this value? For calculation, okay, we need to again multiply. So this into this is 0. This is again 0. Let us do that. So 0.8 into 0.47 plus 0.6 into minus 0.17 divided by 1000. Divided by 1000. Right? So let's do this. Okay, so when we do this calculation, right? When we do this calculation, and this value is comes to be this 2.758 into 10 raised to power minus 4, right? Some values. So now we have got the values of strain, right? Let us calculate now stress. So stress induced in element number 1, it is given by obviously E into strain, right? So value of E, it is common, it is 300 gigapascal into what? Strain induced in element number 1. Okay, this value already we have calculated, 3.33 into 10 raised to power minus 4. Okay. So let's do this calculation. Similarly, stress induced in element number 2 is given by E into strain in element number 2, right? So this is E is again 300 into strain in element number 2, we already calculated, minus 2.78 into 10 raised to power minus 4. On the similar hand, we will calculate stress in element induced in element number 3 as E into strain in element number 3. It is given as 300 into 2.758 into 10 raised to power minus 4, right? 10 raised to power minus 4. So when we calculate this value, it will come as 0.09875 gigapascal. Similarly, this will come as 0.083 gigapascal, and this will come as 0.083 gigapascal. Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Let me know. Have you understood this? Is it okay? Is it okay with this session? Have you understood this numerical? Let me know. Have you understood? So you can respond, not a problem. You can respond all. Yes, is it okay, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so this is all about what the problem we have taken, right? Like now, some of you might have the doubt how to number the truss, right? Why it should not be done in that manner, right? So let me explain you, okay, in detail for this one, okay? So let's consider, okay, all of you, let's consider the previous problem, okay, just the problem which we have taken. So let us see, okay, so this is a truss, okay, this is a truss, right? So how we are numbered? We are numbered like this. Okay. This is element number 1. This is element number 2. Okay. This is element number 3. Right. This is node 1. This is node 2. And this is node 3. Right. Okay. This was having the degrees of freedom 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. 3, 4, and 5, 6. See, this is the way in which we have solved the problem. Right? Previous problem we have solved it like this. Right. So for node 1, we have taken as a reference point with 0, 0. For node 2, we have taken this distance as 800, 0. For node 3, we have taken this as 800, 600. So this is the way in which we have done. Right. So if you want to do it in some different manner, let us say, I will just draw the same diagram. Okay. Now see, this is element number 1. It was already there, right? Now if you want to say that, sir, we want to just change the numbers to the elements. That also you can do, not a problem. That also you can do. If you want to write down the element different number for this one, okay. See, this in the problem this was given as 1, this was 2, and this was 3. Okay, but in the problem, if it is not given, you can also call this as element number 1, this is element number 2, this is element number 3. It doesn't matter. Element number 1, element number 2, element number 3. Right? In this way also you can do. Right? Now let's number the nodes. This is node 1. This is node. See, this is node 1. If you don't want node 2 here, no problem. Node 2 will go here. Okay, node 3 will go here. Right? Try to understand how I'm doing. If you don't want, see what if you want node element number 1 here, okay, I have taken element number 1 here. Previously it was here, right? See, previously element number 1 was here. Now I taken the element number 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here, right? Right. Now what I done, I have assigned this as node number 1, I have assigned this as node number 2, and I have assigned this as node number 3. Right? If you want to have a different setup, that also we can, right? Now if you see this element number 1, it is between 1, 2. Element number 2, it is now between 1, 3. And element number 3, it is between 2, 3, right? In that way. Right? If you want to change this to element number 2, not a problem. This becomes element number 2. Okay. This becomes element number 3. Then what will happen? Element number 1 between 1, 2, element number 2 between 2, 3, element number 3 between 1. Same like that, right? Now we will start assigning it. For this, degree of freedom are 1, 2. For this, it is let it be 3, 4. And for this, let it be 5, 6. Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Is it okay with this one or not? Is it okay with this equation? This sort of problem? See, it's not necessary that whatever the diagram is given, you should follow that. Not a problem. Right? You might have different sets of node numbering and element numbering scheme. Right? So in this way also I done. If you want to make it reversed, okay, you can call this as node number 1. This becomes node number 2. This becomes node number 3. In any way you can do it. But you take care that. Okay. So see, for element number 1, it is 1, 2. Okay. So for element number 1, the degrees of freedom will be 1, 2, 3, 4. For element number 2, there are 3, 4, 5, 6. Now for element number 3, there are 1, 2, 5, 6, like that. If you want to change it one more time, okay, you also can do that. We can have also different setup for this one, right? Okay, so let this be, okay, what I'll do, let this be, okay, not a problem. Let this be element number 1 here, okay? Let this be element number 2 here, let this be element number 3, right? Let this be node number 1, let this be node number 2, let this be node number, not a problem. In any manner you can do. Okay. Now see, if you talk about element number 1, it is between 2, 3. Okay, it is between node 2 and 3. If you talk about element number 2, this one, it is between, see, this is between 1, 3, 1 and 3. Try to understand. It between 1, 3, 2, 3. In that way, I'm right. If you talk about element number 3, between 1, 2, 1 and 2. Right? So your degrees of freedom are, this is 1, 2, this is 3, 4, and this is 5, 6. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is it okay with this one? Is it okay? Right? Is there any doubt you're facing with this one? Let me know. Is there any doubt you're facing with this one? Is there any doubt you can facing? You're facing with this one? Right. So same sort of problem they will be asking in your exam. Okay. So let it be numbering in any manner, but you should be able to do that. Right. Let it get numbered in any manner, but you should be able to do that. Right. So are you facing any doubt or difficulty with this one? Are you facing any doubt or difficulty as far as this chapter is concerned? Okay, let me draw one more diagram. Now this is the time you should tell me, okay, how I should number it. Okay, we'll just take some diagram. Okay, this is the diagram where it is fixed. Where it is fixed. At this point they have ruler. Right? At this point they applied 5 kilonewton. At this point they have applied 15 kilonewton. Right? They have given the coordinate here as 500, 500. Okay, and this distance they have given as 1000. Right? Now let me know how I should start. Okay, now anybody from you can tell me, okay, how I should start numbering, because numbering is very important. Right? Anybody of you can start telling me. Okay, how I should, which element I should take it as element number 1, element number 2, in any manner we can, not a problem. Okay, what we'll do, we will start moving from left towards right. Okay, so this becomes node 1, this becomes node 2, and this becomes node 3, right? We'll start moving from left towards right. 1, 2, and 3, right? Now let us start. Let's take element number 1 between 1 and 2, right? Element number 1 between 1, 2. Let's take element number 2 between 2, 3. See, if you take it in this manner, then continuity will be maintained. 1 between 1, 2, 2 between 2, 3. Okay, so we will have element number 3 between 1 and 3. Is that okay? Let me know. Is that okay now? So what we'll do, see, node 1 will have 2 degrees of freedom, 1, 2, right? Node 1 will have 2 degrees of freedom, and those degrees of freedom are 1, 2. For node number 2, this is 3 and 4, and for node number 3, this is 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? Now, see all of it. So, is there any doubt we are facing with why we are numbered in this manner? Is there any doubt you are facing? Why it is numbered in this manner? Is there any doubt or difficulty you are facing? Is there any doubt or difficulty you are facing with this one?
No, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. So what basically we have done here is we have solved two problems based on this chapter. Right? We have solved two problems based on this chapter. Okay. So now we have finished. We have finished with the problem on the. Okay, we have finished with the problem. See, let me clear you. If you solve this problem, you will get exactly. Okay. You can see this is fixed. This is roller, right? This is fixed. This is roller. That means what? The roller can move in X direction. Yes or no? This roller can move in X direction. It can't move in Y direction. That is what. Okay. So after some time, what will happen? Due to these applied forces, okay, the truss might get deformed like this. Try to understand. The truss might get deformed like this. Okay, I am just making the diagram. Okay, so the truss may deform like this. Right? Understood. A force like this, the truss might get deformed like this. Is it a case? Is it a case? See, this is fixed. So this will remain here only, right? It will not move. But this is free. And you are applying in X and Y direction, so it will move. Okay. So how much distance it has moved? Okay, how much distance it has moved? See, this is node 1 we have taken. Right? This is node 2 we have taken, right? This is node 3 we have taken, right? This is node 3 we have taken, right? So what happens? Node 1 we are having U1 and 2. Okay. But node 1 is fixed, that's why U1 is 0, as well as U2 is 0, right? U2 is 0. We have 2 degrees of freedom, 1 and 2. Okay, but both are 0. Now, what happened with node 2 at the location 2? Now it got shifted to 2 dash. The position is 2 dash. So what is the horizontal distance it has moved? Okay, so this is a horizontal distance it has, right? So this is horizontal distance. And the horizontal distance, okay, at node 3 and 4, right? I will just write down. At node 3, we have 3 and 4. So this is U3. Okay, U3 horizontal. U3 is in horizontal. That is horizontal displacement. Vertical displacement, you can see. See, I'll just highlight that. This is a vertical displacement, right? See, initially it was here, now it got shifted here. This is nothing but your U4. Okay, U4. See, this is U4. This vertical is U4. Horizontal is U3, right? So now, what is about node 3? Again, we'll have 2 degrees of freedom, 5 and 6. Okay, but okay, it will move only in X direction, right? So if you just see this displacement, okay, this displacement. Yeah, this displacement. Initially it was here, now it got shifted here. So this is nothing but your U5. Displacement at node 3 in X direction, right? Displacement at node 3 in X direction, right? So what is about U6? Okay, it is in vertical direction. So it is 0. That roller can't move in vertical direction. So it's a 0. Are you able to understand? Okay. So if you need to solve this problem, what we need to get? We need to get U3, we need to get U4, and we need to get U5. These things should be known. Okay, displacement at node 2 in X, that is U3. Displacement at node 2 in Y, that is U4. Similarly, displacement at node 3 in X direction, that is U5, that we should determine. Right? Is it okay with this one? You understood this one? Is it okay? Is there any doubt or difficulty you're facing with this one? Is there any doubt or difficulty you're facing? Are you facing any doubt or difficulty?
No, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do today, we'll stop the session, and in the next session, we will start with the analysis of beam. Okay. So this is again a different module, different analysis of beam. Okay. And once that analysis of beam gets covered, what we will do, we will start solving the 2D problems. Okay. So whatever the problems that we have taken till now, and what we will be taking in the next lecture, they belongs to one-dimensional problem. One-dimensional problem. Okay, they are basically the one-dimensional problem. Okay, because we are using one-dimensional elements for those. Okay, and in the next lecture, we will start with the analysis of beam, and once that gets finished, okay, what we can do is we can start taking the problems on two-dimensional elements, and those two-dimensional elements are rectangular element, quadrilateral element. See, this is not a rectangular element. See, this is line, and this is line. What do you have inside? It is nothing. It's air. Okay, so this is not a geometry. It's a connection of 1D elements. This is connection of 1D elements. That's why we are calling those as 1D elements, right? But when we take a triangular element, okay, filled, that triangle has to be fully filled, triangle or rectangle or quadrilateral. So such elements are two-dimensional elements. Okay, so by the next lecture or by the next module, the analysis of beam will be finishing the problem on 1D element. After that, we'll be starting with the 2D elements, right? So is it okay? Okay, so now what I will do, I will conclude this today's session, and I will just put the attendance link. Okay, once that has been done, all of you, you can, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, you can move to the next.